So this is the presentation 2. We'll be talking about the negative slope here. Look at this figure also. Look at this, y equals to minus 3x. We're going to plot the graph y equals minus 3x. In the previous slide, if you could remember, I said you very clearly, the value over here with x is the slope. So in this case, the slope is negative, that is negative 3. In this case, the slope is negative, that is negative 4. And in this equation, y equals to minus 6x, minus 6 is the slope. So we are going to prepare the relevant table. What do? You input the x coordinates into this equation. That is minus 3 into minus 2 gives you plus 6. Minus 3 into minus 1 gives you 3. Minus 3 into 0 gives you 0. Minus 3 into 1, it is minus 3. Minus 3 into 3, it's minus 9. And minus 3 into 5, it's minus 15. So by multiplying each x coordinate with this minus 3, you will get the relevant y coordinates. Similarly, you can fill the other two tables as well. Okay, so we can plot these x and y coordinates, join it, and to draw the graph. So this is y equals to minus 3x graph, and also this is y equals to minus 4x graph. You can see at minus 2 over here, it's minus 2 minus x, sorry, plus 8. And over here, plus 5, it's minus 20. So you can see the next graph, that is y equals to minus 6x. So what I have done in this, I have drawn all three graphs in the same coordinate plane. And I will label each graph. This is y equals to minus 3x. This is y equals to minus 4x. And this is y equals to minus 6x. So what do you observe in these graphs also? The first thing is that also these three graphs passes through the origin. And these three graphs moves towards the left. Why is it moving towards the left? Because it has a negative gradient, because it has a negative slope. The slope is negative, minus 3 over here, minus 4 over here, and minus 6 over here. So the slope is negative, so the graph moves to the left side. As well as it makes an obtuse angle with the x-axis. You can see with the x-axis, the three graphs make obtuse angles. So what is important here is, because each graph has a negative slope. Now where is the slope representing? It's the value which is with this x. Negative 3, negative 4 and negative 6. Because the slope is negative, the graphs moves towards the left. An example. Complete the table and plot the graph y equals to 2x plus 1. So the x coordinates are given. Let's start working it out. So the first x coordinate is minus 2. So what you have to do? Y is equal to twice the x coordinate and add 1. So this is the equation. So 2 times minus 2 plus 1 is equal to minus 3. Nextly, 2 times minus 1, that is the next x coordinate. You add 1, it's equals to minus 1. Nextly, 2 times 0, add 1, so it's plus 1 over here. So we have filled these three x coordinates, minus 2, minus 1, 0 with 3 y coordinates. And 1, 3 and 5 for you. Work it out and get the relevant y coordinates. And you can plot the graph like this. And this is the blue graph over here. This is the y equals to 2x plus 1 graph. And if you read the question, it says on the same axis to draw x is equal to 1. So it just like there's no x and y 2 points. They just talk about x equals 1. So we can see x equals to 1 is over here. So just draw a straight line through x equals 1 and you can label that as x equals to 1 graph, as well as x equals to minus 2. It's another point. The minus 2 is over here. So that's another graph over here through minus 2 and it's x equals to minus 2. So what are the things that you have observed in these three graphs which you have plotted? First thing is, if I speak about the blue graph, it has a slope and the slope is 2. It has a slope and the slope is positive 2. So the graph moves towards the right side. And also x equals to 1 and x equals to minus 2, it has nothing to do with y. So these two straight line graphs are parallel to the y-axis because it doesn't have a slope. The graph x equals to 1 doesn't have a slope and the graph x equals to minus 2, it doesn't have a slope. So because it doesn't have any slope, it's just parallel to the y-axis. Okay, so this is another example, y equals to minus x minus 1. So the relevant x coordinate starts with minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 3 and 5. So these are the y coordinates. And how do you find the y coordinates? Y is equal to, in the graph it says minus, only for this x you are going to input this minus 2. So in the equation y equals to minus 2 minus 1. That's how you will find this y coordinate over here because this minus sign is there in the given equation. So what you have to substitute is only for this x. Look at the next one, that is y equals to minus, the next coordinate is minus 1. Then you have to subtract 1 again. So we have y equals to minus 0 minus 1, y equals to minus 1 minus 1, that is minus 2. And y equals to minus, that is there in the sum, you input 3 minus 1, that is minus 4, and the last coordinate is minus 6. So what you have to do is you're going to mark these points into your graph paper and draw the graph y equals to minus x minus 1. And you have to observe and see what is the slope of the graph and whether the graph moves to the right or to the left. Also, you can mark the point x equals to 1. And you draw a parallel graph through x equals to 1 that is parallel to the y-axis. Also look at this, that is y equals to minus 2. Mark the point y equals to minus 2. Draw a parallel graph to the x-axis at y equals minus 2. Draw a parallel graph to the x-axis at y equals minus 2. You try this question of your own and we will continue the next part of the graphs in the next presentation.